same channel. And how you do that? That's why we come up with the content plan, to see which person does what at what point in time.
If I put on Google Global Education 3000 LinkedIn,
Yeah.
I cannot find the page.
Yeah. So when was the page created? Oh yeah, that was earlier this morning. How long does Google take on average? A month to 6 weeks. That's the answer.
No, Global Education
Program
3000 was
3000.
created
Yeah.
a few months ago.
You set it up. You set it up, but not not with the text that is there now.
Yeah.
It was Education 3000, not Global Education 3000. See? So Google hasn't indexed that yet, Patricia. Patience. I know we can all use a bit more of that, but like I said, unreasonable expectations.
I thought I had enough.
There's always room for more. That deal. So, guys, metrics. One of the things you can do with your company. Oh, sorry, Mark. Yeah.
I have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Something you said earlier this morning.
Yes.
It's about a profile, creating a profile in another language. For instance, if you have a lot of endorsements in one profile, let's say in English, and you create a profile in Dutch, do the endorsements get transferred automatically to Dutch profile? Okay.
Also, your media will be on all of the languages of your profile.
And you can't have, for instance, a slideshow in Dutch and one in English for the respective.
Yeah. No, without the respective languages.
No, you can't.
But you can have up to 20, 30, 40 rich media on your profile. The problem is, if you say, well, we're going actually global and we want to have it in 600 languages, then you're in trouble. Okay. If you want to put 600 versions of it, but for most people, we're talking about 3 to 5, maybe 20 at maximum, in 2 or 3 languages maximum, which is still overseeable. Right? And then is the question: why wouldn't you make a multi-language version of a movie, for example? If you global education, it's more than one language. So I'm just
We were
saying.
thinking about English, French, and Spanish.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. And no Dutch? That's too easy?
Yeah, no, Dutch, yeah.
They all know English, so. They all know English.
Yes.
No, but sometimes people forget.
Yeah, but it's not a priority.
Okay, then don't. But, if it's just one small extra step, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course, it has to be there. Of course.
And most of you are Dutch native speakers, so it's pretty easy.
Yes.
Anyways, Kathleen, is that a question or is that a specific move that you are... no, okay.
It's a question.
Okay, go ahead.
You did get to know me in the summary, but below there is also interests. Why wouldn't you put it with interests?
Interest is a very good question, thank you. Interest on your profile can be more elaborated. In the summary, you have a maximum of 2,000 characters. And so, like Brioni said, it's already full. So if you don't have enough space to put all of your interests, some people are more interesting and have more interest than others. So that's where you have the other space there to put more interests there. And on that space, it becomes clickable. So if you then put, one of the things that I would certainly do is put butterfly-wise there as an interest keyword as well, because it becomes a keyword search. So when you click on that, you get everyone who has butterfly-wise on their profiles.
So in fact it's more interesting to put it in interest and not in the summary.
Okay, so you're coming from a space of, let's say, lack of, and we're coming from a space of abundance. So it's never a question of should I do this there, here or there. No, the question is put it here and there. So it's always and. Yes, both. Does it answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Cool, guys. So the next step is that you, like we said, in some of our programs, we talk about metrics, that you know where the money is coming from. How much money was generated through LinkedIn? How much participants for the event were generated through LinkedIn? Well, then you need metrics, okay? Some of the metrics are within the system. Other metrics, when we, run the program with you, will give you some templates on how to get the numbers out of LinkedIn very easy. This is one that is incorporated when you do company updates. It shows you when the update was done, of course the title, who it was sent to, how many impressions it got, how many clicks it got when there's an action to go to the next, what the engagement percentage is, and you have the direct link to make it a sponsored update. So when you see when it's very engaging, it's a good title, then you can make it a sponsored, which is a paid for feature, as you have on Facebook as well, sponsored updates. You can do that straight away from your company page updates or showcase page updates. Okay. But then you get the metrics about, one of the things that we see is that when we do an update about ourselves, the engagement and the number of clicks are twice as high when we do an update about someone else or about LinkedIn or about something happening with LinkedIn. What does that teach us? That the people who are following us are there for us, not per se about the platform. Does it make sense? Or did I go too fast? Yeah. So these are the So when we look at these metrics, when we do an update that concerns us. So for example, when we brought on board more trainers, then you see the engagement, the number of clicks, the number of impressions is double as high than when we do an announcement about LinkedIn is now 300 million users, or LinkedIn is now this feature or stopping that feature. It's double than when it comes to an external news or internal news. Right? So what we see is that, what does that learn us about our followers is that those people are interested in who we are, not about the platform per se.
Yeah.
That's what we get from the analytics. So one of the things we do is we are now redirecting.
Actually, they come to your profile because of your brand.
Because of our brand and because of what we do. So when we do a post about a blog that we've written, we see much more engagement than when we see it's a blog that we repost or we tweet about or we do an update about someone else's blog. So what does it tell us? That the people are interested in what we are doing.
Your value.
Exactly. And so therefore our content plan has now changed into start more publishing from our own content.
You can use content from someone else.
Yes, you can.
Unless you put it on top, on the end, you put your own vision or your own information.
And you have to credit people for their content and so on and so forth. Yes, of course.
Then it's easier if you use content from someone else. Mm-hmm. When your content is rated higher, then you can just.
Of course. Yeah. So one of the things that I've done is I've applied now for the influencer program on LinkedIn, and they just granted last week, that I can now start writing blogs on LinkedIn as well and publish my own or our own content there.
So actually, you're doing now the same like Shah Wasmond and Brendan.
Yeah. But they already started. I'm starting now to do that. Yeah. But in a year from now, we probably have a couple of thousand followers on that.
Do you know Shah?
I don't know her personally, no.
She's going to coach me when I'm done here.
Okay, perfect.
I've been to Brendan Bouchard's event, and she chose 5 persons to coach.
Okay. And you were one of them. Excellent. Congratulations.
So she said, just do your thing, do your job, and when you're ready, come back in. So now I'm almost ready, so I can.
Perfect. And see, again with networking, that's what happens. If you're clear on your goal, the right people start to show up. Mm-hmm. And you attract the people towards you, rather than you trying to, who can I sell it to? People start showing up.
That's the magic. That's really the magic that happens when people come to you, phone you up like Harman. He was great. He came from an event with Laurel. Yeah. And he just rang me up and he said he started talking with me and I want to know more and blah blah blah. And we've been for 1 hour we've been talking. And normally when I'm working and I have my focus time, I do not touch my telephone. I do not open my Skype. I just and my telephone rang, and at that moment, before I knew it, I said, I do not take the telephone. That moment I was, yes, with Gwen. And then he started, do you have a minute? I said, not much, but, and then he started talking an hour later with 30 wait, 53 million.